Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know you are told to unfollow me and subscribe from this particular YouTube channel, deplatform me and even cancel me by one particular person on Twitter, but it backfired. I want to give you all those details, but before I do that, a warm welcome to everyone who is new on this platform. I know we've gotten thousands of subscribers and I really do appreciate you. I did not imagine it would turn this way. I did not imagine there are people who have never heard about our platform, our work, and you are here. So allow me to just briefly tell you what this channel is about and introduce myself. My name is Lynn Ngugi. I'm a content creator, a Kenyan, and also someone who is really vocal and interested in having an opinion. I've been at an airport. I made sure I went to JKIA just to make sure that I can say I've been to one and I have an opinion. We cover different topics here. You will find us covering human interest stories. Some of them have been said to be sad, and they really were. And if you know, we stopped having those conversations. We put a pause to that because I always say one of the things about being a content creator, the privilege is being able to grow with your audience. So we've also covered a beautiful series here. It's called Rebuilding Series, and we've had inspirational content, agribusiness, and now we are having governance conversations. We are learning, unlearning, and relearning. I told you I would let you know what happened to me on Twitter, and I know a lot of people fear Twitter. It's called X. Personally, I've been away from it for 2 years, and I just went back, I think a couple of months back, and I know they say you have to have tough skin if you're going to be on Twitter. So let me tell you what happened and why someone asked you to cancel me because they believe I'm tribal. Right, so if you remember this week, the president was in Taita Taveta, and I believe he was launching a particular project there. And he said there is a spirit of rejection among the people in this country. You guys, you've rejected Adani, you are rejecting the housing levy, you are rejecting this livestock vaccine, you are rejecting everything that the government talks to you about. And to be honest, I knew when I started having a bit of serious conversations on this platform, when we started talking about the livestock vaccine, when we sat here with Akina Mordecai and we were talking about the conservation lie, when we brought in Kadhomi who was talking about the livestock vaccine and Bill Gates' obsession with vaccinating Africans, I knew it wasn't going to sit right by everyone. So I was very, very prepared that someone will sit somewhere and say, cancel this particular person. So let me take you back to the clips that almost got me cancelled and what my views are on the cancel culture, especially when it comes to creatives. So I went on my Instagram and also a couple of my other social media platforms, that is Twitter and TikTok, and I just posted this clip about Mapepo because I was so concerned that when people have an opinion, what the first thing that the president says is, you guys have a spirit of rejection, where else you would actually, but you would anticipate for him to just listen and just gauge the environment, read the room and ask himself, why is it that people tend to actually go against everything I'm telling them? They reject everything I'm telling them. And I'm telling you, we have a trust issue. And sometimes I tend to think of Ruto as a president who is a president at the wrong time. Because I believe even if we had another leader in this particular timing, he would also face such serious scrutiny because everything has changed. People have access to information. People are having conversations. The fear is gone, but I know I've spoken a lot. So let me just play the clip so then we can go to that particular Twitter post that asked you guys to cancel me.
By the way, guys, if you've never been in an airport, why do you think you need to have an opinion? Like, why do you actually have an opinion on JKI? Why are you telling people who own this country what to do? Your hustler parents cannot afford to even pay a ticket to Mombasa so that you can pass by JKI and just get to witness why we need an upgrade. And it doesn't matter if that upgrade is coming from one of the most corrupt individuals in the world. No, Tanzania, they are doing it. Why are you guys so possessed? Ni nini mko na mapepo? Like, why don't you want this country to develop? Why do you have an opinion on everything? Why can't you just go on about your business without having opinions? We need you when it's time to talk to you about the analogy of a wheelbarrow, when we need to convince you that every chicken seller in this country can be able to make it. That's when we need you. Till then, please stop having opinions. You shouldn't have opinions on things that you have no idea about. And by the way, guys, that mining person, the one who got all A's, and I think the list he had was an A minus, the one, the mining guy. See, I thought he always had opinions, but now he's the one telling people they shouldn't have opinions also. They should let must go do what he needs to do, because why are you talking? Muna disrupt you people. Mkona mapepo. And I'm telling you guys, you need to go and be delivered. Like, you actually need to go and be delivered. Because ile mapepo imewaja. The audacity to have an opinion. The audacity to actually say this is what you think is right. I mean, mmetoa pio nguvu. Mulichanuka lini? When did the fear go? Mulichanuka lini? Because you guys have always been, yes sir, yes utatenga, yes sir, Ai, hapana, mko na mapepo. And I think at this point, there's a certain bishop wa ICK mwenye anaweza watoa hizo mapepo, because the rate at which he's receiving this money inakaa kona potential. Akona potential ya kutoa mapepo. So I don't know why you guys insist on having opinions. Stop having an opinion. A country is not made up by people who are just nye. Don't have an opinion, please. Wacheni vitu ziendelee venye zinaendelea, and book a session ya kutolewa mapepo by the guys who are busy receiving cash. You guys, the audacity to just talk about things that munaelewa nini kuhusu an airport. Like, what do you understand? Nah, I think it's too much. You guys are too much. Go back to where you belong. This is not easy, your lane, guys, not.
All right, so as you can hear, this was a very sarcastic clip. It was just a reply to that particular statement, because I think there's there's actually a place the president said, wengine wenyu mna reject easy deals and you've never been to an airport. And for me, the fact that he continues talking like this to people, telling people you've never been to an airport, when mjinga kiasi gani, it's just an indication that something is absolutely wrong. This is someone who is suffering from maximum rejection. And coincidentally, on this particular day, we were going to pick our friend at the airport. And I made a joke and I was like, see, we're at the airport. And I know there are a lot of people who have never been to one. I remember my first time in an airport. That was, I think, 2013. 2012 or 2013, thereabout. That's when I was going to work in Dubai. And I was so excited. By the way, guys, I missed my flight. But I was so excited at the thought of being at an airport, just entering a plane and being like, oh my goodness, this is how it actually feels to be in one. And I acknowledge there are so many people who have never been to an airport. But does that mean you shouldn't have an opinion about what Adani was supposed to do in this country simply because you've never been to an airport? Does it mean because you've never been at State House, you shouldn't pay the president? Because if he lives in State House and he's paid by our money, does it mean you shouldn't have an opinion because you've never stepped State House? So we went and picked our friend, and as we were waiting for him to come, by the way, the international arrival part is bad, like pure bad. That airport, like it's just pathetic, honestly. And we were just waiting for him to come, and I was like, say, just make a video and show people how an airport looks like, so that next time when someone says, don't have an opinion, maybe you can actually tell them, we saw an airport in Lynn's video. I know, very sarcastic, of course, but it was really fun to make. So let me also watch this video together with you so that we can be able to go to that particular Twitter post. So guys, as you can see, leo make it to an airport. Oh my God. My first time in an airport, so that means I finally get to have an opinion, which means I qualify as a Kenyan citizen to have an opinion. So I have an opinion, guys, honestly. So let no one ever say we've never been in an airport, kwa sababu leo tumeingia in one. This is JKI. I'm just showing you how an airport looks like, so that in future when someone tells you you shouldn't have an opinion about an airport because you've never been in one, you guys can come back to this clip na muangalie venye airport inakaanga, so that maybe finally your opinion can be valid. So this airport in particular, it's called JKIA. JKIA, it's the airport where they had this whole agreement with Adani to be able and come and upgrade, until people who have never been in an airport made noise about it, and now we are being gaslighted. Tunaambiwa tuko na mapepo simply because you guys stopped the developing of this particular airport. So cha muhimu ni leo muone airport inakaanga aje, ndio muelewe kwa nini mnafaa kukuwa na opinion. Just showing you how an airport looks like, and I hope this helps with your opinion. Na msisahau deliverance tunaenda, na pia msisahau ule mtu wetu wa A-. Next time akiwaongelesha vibaya, muonyesheni tu hizi clips. You've been to an airport through Lynn's eyes. Sawa, today we got time, guys. We got time. All right, so obviously it's very weird watching yourself, but you guys, you watched these particular clips. You watched these particular clips, you shared collectively on my own personal social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It garnered almost 2 million views. And I know that's huge, because I know a lot of you shared this particular clip. You understood the sarcasm in it. And it was just a light moment of encouraging you and letting you know that you don't have necessarily to have been in an airport to have an opinion. And as expected, and the way, as I said, some of the things that I do, I know the feedback that I'm going to get. But one of the things that I appreciate is someone's opinion. Like, you need to be able to live in a country where you appreciate people's opinion. I'm a content creator, and I'm sure not everyone likes my content. There are people who even have had an opinion about my content. And the way I look at an opinion, it's a learning moment. You should be able to look at someone's opinion and ask, is there some truth in what this person is saying? And if there is some truth, what are my areas of improvement? If there is not truth, truth in that, you move on, right? So I know obviously what an opinion is, and it's very degrading to think that people who have never been to an airport should actually not have an opinion, or constantly asking people, hii ni ujinga gani. That's actually very degrading. So as I said, a lot of you went and shared this particular clip. We had very fun moments on the comment section. Once again, a moment to remind people that citizen journalism is the future. We can be able to curate conversations by ourselves, for ourselves. And it was just interesting seeing Kenyans understand this sarcasm, and also how did this shift from being an opinion to Lynn is tribal, right? Right. So let's go to this particular tweet by one Dr. Dennis Addison Ouma, and the person you can see here on the split screen. And he says, it's now official that all Kikuyu content creators led by Lynn Ngugi, attaches my handle, are tribal with their content against President Ruto. I urge all followers of President Ruto to unfollow Lynn Ngugi on YouTube, all social media platforms, all Kalenjins, Luos in capital, Luyas, Meru, Kenya Somalis, Coast Kisses Embu must unfollow deplatform Lynn Ngugi and other content creators such as Nick Big Fish or Jugush since they hate President William Ruto. This is the part. It is 47 tribes in Kenya against Kikuyus in 2027 election, no doubt. President Ruto is already re-elected in 2027 elections, just waiting for his swearing in. Noise by Kikuyus are now politically impactless on President Ruto 2027 re-election. Of course, attaches a very cute photo of myself there sitting on one of our sets here. And I had a very busy day yesterday, so I was shooting. I had like 3 episodes, so I barely took a look at social media. But when I went home, you know, you're cooking, unachemsha kuku hapo, and you just check, I'm like, wait a minute. Oh my goodness, why is everyone mentioning me on Twitter? Man, I fear Twitter. I know everyone, like Twitter, as I said, you have got to have some tough skin if you're going to that platform. But it's also one of the most exciting platforms to be in. Like if you ask me, Twitter X, it's now X, is the reason so many changes are happening in our country. And there are so many people I admire on that particular platform, and I can't mention all of them. But you guys, you've heard me talk about Nelson Amenya, the whistleblower to this whole Adani deal. You know I love what Americ's post. There are so many people that I follow, like-minded people who we might not agree, but they give you room to have an opinion. So when I went and I clicked on this particular post, of course, did someone just call me tribal? Did someone just say that all content creators in this particular country, the Kikuyu content creators, must be deplatformed because they are against William Ruto? Did someone actually pull the tribal card on Lynn Ngugi? Honestly. And this is not a flex, guys. My name is Lynn Ngugi. There is a Ngugi in that name, a Gogi in that name actually. And that means I am Kikuyu, which is actually true. And there is nothing I can do about the fact that I am Kikuyu. The same way some of my colleagues here, Muga is Luo, Scholar is Luya. We have so many people in this particular room who are from different tribes. And I think one of the things you can be able to tell someone is do away with your tribe, do away with your history. You cannot doctor history that way. I'm proud to be that person. I'm actually proud to be a Kikuyu, the same way other people find pride in being from different tribes. And this is what actually brings us together. This is what makes Kenya beautiful. The fact that we are all from different tribes, we have different cultures, and when we bring them together, it actually forms something beautiful. And again, I'm a millennial. I'm not in a bad way. I'm not a Gen X, and I don't have anything bad against Gen X, but it's because I know the tribal element is so big on some people than it is to other generations. So I find pride in having come from that particular community, but I also find pride in having associated with so many people in this country who are not keen on, by the way, hii tribe nini, you know, by the way, you meet people in a room and you guys mnakula sherehe, ama you guys, you're having conversations, and the last thing you're actually going to ask someone is, which tribe are you from? By the way, when ulisema we ni Mkale, wait, we ni Mkamba? I don't hear that with my tribe. I don't hear that with my people. So when I went on this particular post, I was actually like, wait, what is happening? What did I say? How did I go against? How did this turn to be a tribal thing? I thought President Ruto is a president. He is a president. So why is this being turned to be a tribal issue? And then something told me, go through the comments, Lynn. Man, because I knew for sure it's deplatform. So I start going through the comments and I'm seeing people say, guys, listen, follow Lynn Ngugi, follow Lynn Ngugi, follow Lynn Ngugi. People are actually attaching links there to our YouTube channel. And of course, there are those who were like, yeah, unsubscribe. But I was looking at all those comments. You're free to go and look at them also and see the feedback. And there are more than 1,000 comments of people saying, follow Lynn, guys. We are actually going to unfollow you and we are going to follow Lynn. You are not going to pull this tribal card on us. And then that obviously encourages you to keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. And I read those comments, and I want to take this moment, even if you've not subscribed to this particular channel, because that's not the end goal here. Even if you've not subscribed and you saw what the truth was in that particular post and you called it out for what it is, I really take this moment to appreciate you. And honestly, you do not have to subscribe to this particular channel. So of course, I said, you know, you've said what you said. We have opinions now. I was at JKIA, made it to an airport. I should have opinions. And I went straight and I gave this particular reply. And I told this particular person, I did a post on this and I said, thank you all for the love against this retrogressive tribal piece of shit, because that's actually who he is, right? There is nothing in me that fears the cancel culture. You did not get me here. You definitely won't get me out of here. Whether they paid you 527 bob to tarnish my name or not, the truth remains. Must go will go. This is Kenya. Your backward mentality is the reason we are where we are. Drop that DR, the doctor, before your name. You don't deserve it, because what you are a puppet. Now let me tell you why I spoke about the 527 bob thing. I did a video here previously, and I also knew it wouldn't go well with government bloggers. So who are government bloggers? Government bloggers are people who are paid to post. And the assumption is every post you do, every retweet, every way you engage on social media, every time you like bully someone or just completely assassinate someone's character, you are paid 527 bob, right? And I knew the moment I did that video, government bloggers or other bloggers who don't like people who are opinionated were definitely going to come for me. Like, I've been ready, guys. I've been ready. And as I said, one of the best things about being a content creator is that you get to grow with your audience. Have I always done the perfect videos? Have I always brought you the perfect content? Absolutely not. But what does that make me? That makes me a human being who is striving towards growth, right? So there is a reason why sometimes you'll do this content and then you shift to another content. I met one of my fans, and he told me, Lynn, I think the best thing that has happened, no, actually not a fan. I was here with Jackie Care, and we were having a conversation on blended families. And she said, Lynn, I think the best thing that has happened to you is your ability to grow in front of your audience. Because there's always fear that comes with being a content creator. You are going to be so scared. What will people say about me? If I put this kind of work out there, what will people say about me? But there's no difference being just being like a musician. You're going to put one album out, it's beautiful, the reception will be amazing, and then you're going to put another album out and the reception will, you know, it's going to flop. The reception will not be equally amazing. So I feel for me as a content creator, why I spoke about my non-fear, is there a word like that, of cancel culture, is because when this person goes, they are asking you to unsubscribe because to them, this YouTube platform is my source of livelihood. Of course it is, but I am also a risk taker, and I always understand that one day YouTube inaweza funga. Umejipanga aje? And I know I won't create content for life. Like, I intend actually to go away a couple of years to come and just do farming or whatever it is that I want to do that particular season. No one is bound to stay in the same place forever. And yes, as much as this is someone's source of livelihood, and you think by deplatforming them, canceling them, it's going to cost them much, you've got to understand, where is this person coming from? Where is this person coming from? For you to be able to pull the tribal card, which I will address shortly, like, you really have to be, like, you are not okay. And I know there's a reason a lot of content creators fear speaking against bad governance, bad policies. It's simply because they know they can be cancelled each time. Each time you speak, by the way, is an opportunity to get you cancelled. So I know there are some people of influence that would love to speak, but they are not there yet. And I know they will get there at their own time. And that's why I say, when you see some of us are speaking boldly about bad governance, it's because the fear is gone, actually. The fear is gone. We can wake up one day and we don't have a channel and we will still be okay. The fear is gone. We are okay with starting again over and over and over again. And we have got to let people arrive at that destination when they are ready. So I don't fear being cancelled, honestly. I have seen what cancel culture does, but I've also seen what appreciating people's opinion looks like. Freedom of speech, and that's why I love X. Anyone can say, including this particular person, they can say what they want to say. However, do not pull that tribal card on us because we don't live there anymore. I want to give you a story, and this is very personal for me. In 2007, 2008 post-election violence, I was in the middle of that particular violence. We used to live in Huruma, and I've done a video previously on this channel, I think 3 years ago, just taking people to where I was raised up. And we used to live in Huruma. You know, if you're living in a plot, kuna first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. Beautiful moment to live kwa sababu you don't even realize you are poor. Like you might lack the basics. But I always feel like there is some type of vibe that happens in those particular places that doesn't remind you that you could be 12 of you in a plot and you're sharing one toilet, one bathroom. You have to line up na besheni yako asubuhi ukioga, ugoje baba nani atoke uingie bafu. You know, where you live, nyinyi wote mnapanga tu besheni mwenye anaingia bafu, washroom ukienda ugonge, mtu agonge, you have to go kwa balcony and wait kidogo for someone to finish so that you can be able to get in. I lived in Huruma, and where I lived was between Mathare and Huruma. There is a river there. So those who are familiar with the estate, there is ghetto that side, and then there are few plots this side. So I lived there for a long time, since I was in primary. I think we lived there for 5 or more years. Then, of course, tuka-upgrade, tukasonga hapo juu. So we went into like a 1-bedroom, whatever. So that's where, before we got into that 1-bedroom, we stayed in a single room for like, I think 2 or 3 years. And I was in high school then. And one of the highlights in this particular living was a friend of mine. I have not seen him for forever. And I always say, even wherever you are, hit your girl up. Like I would love to know what turned out. Like, how did life turn out for you? So Akina Ivan So used to live by the stairs, as we used to live uko kwa kona. And the way I said I'm Kikuyu, Evans and his brothers, they had 3 brothers and 1 sister, Irene. So Akina Evan So were loose. But can you believe, and this is the irony of it all, we never knew. We could see some pettiness with our parents, the Gen X, but for us, imagine, you know, that kind of environment where you live, munaenda kwa kina mtu, wanapika mnakula huko, ama senye lunch iko karibu mnafukuzwa, nyiendeni sisi tukule. Like, we used to live in this beautiful, beautiful lifestyle, and we had no idea. This is before 2007. We had no idea that you are Kikuyu and you are Luo, and we had beautiful moments together. Evan So is who introduced me to all my hip-hop tracks. Evan So introduced me to these people. He had a Walkman, and he used to give me, and I would sit kwa balcony, and I would just listen to, you know, Akina Nas, you know, their album Stillmatic. And I loved these moments, by the way. Like, you would anticipate closing school so that you go chill na ma friends wako kwa esto. Like, you get it. This life was beautiful. Like, I miss this particular life. So, in 2007, I just finished high school. So you're chilling, of course you don't know what you're supposed to do with your life. Akina Ivanso wako hapo. And then these things start happening, man. Unasikia, kuna vita, ni this 42. Is it 42 against 1 or 41 against 1? And tuko kwa plot, tunaanza kufeel some hostility. So akina Evanso na Sisi and a couple of other people, it was a 4-floor story. So akina Evanso and a couple of us remained. But on this particular day, because the area we were in, tushapanda kutoka hii bridge ya Huruma na Mathare, tumepanda hapa juu kidogo kwa Ras. So in this particular area, this was a Kikuyu dominated area. A lot of people in that particular, hizo vibanda nini wako, they are Kikuyus. And this particular day, my mom had something. Watu wataingia kwa maploti. And you know, they would come and bang the gates, tokeni. So you don't put on your lights, don't do anything. And in our floor, people had left. Ilikuwa ni sisi huko kwa kona, akina Evanso and another neighbor on this side. So that night, I remember my mom was very tensed. And she said, tomorrow we have to leave this place because there were so many things happening. And one of the things that was happening also, it's rape. So my mom was very scared. She has these 4 girls at home. Even if these people come and they are Kikuyu, you have no idea what they are going to do to your girls. So this particular night, we slept and we were so tensed because ilikuwa fungueni gate, wanagonga. Then you don't say a thing, don't scream, don't say nothing. Let them think the whole place is empty. But the next day, my mom said, there was an aunt of mine who lived like 10 minutes away in John Saga. John Saga, again, a Kikuyu dominated estate. So my mom said, we have to leave. However, we cannot leave akina Evanso behind. I think Evans was there with one of his brother. His parents walikuwa wameshaenda, so ilikuwa imebaki the parents and some of the brothers and the sister they had left. So ilikuwa Evanso na brother yake anaitwa Peter. So my mom says we have to leave. So it's around midday. And we carry me and my sister Shiko. Shiko is my old sister. So Shiko and now my younger sister and my mom, people loved my mom in that particular area because wanajua Mama Shiko, Mama, you know that thing in the estate where they know your mom, like Mama Shiko, sasa Mama Shiko, you know. But behind us, we have also akina Ivanso na Peter. There is a particular place we need to cross. And once we cross this particular place, we are safe. Because there is a John Saga police station. So people can also go there. A lot of people who had been displaced were going there. So it's last minute. Tunatembea, tumeenda tu, wanajua ni mom, na watoto wake, Evanso hapo, Peter. Tunatembea. We are almost crossing that zone, the red zone. And one guy says, "Where, Mama Shiko?" I'm like, oh my goodness, what is happening? Mama Shiko. Simama. So we stand. Remember, these guys are familiar to us because it's a butchery and we used to go and buy meat from that particular place. And we thought, vijana tu wamekaa, by the way hakukuwa na watu wengi. But the moment they said Mama Shiko, simama, and there was, mama nasema, na simama kwa nini, wacheni niende na watoto wangu, simama. Hoi, you know how people start, you know, the numbers start building in. So tumekaa hapo, tumeambiwa tusimame, and they ask my mom, unaenda wapi na vijana? So there was no way of lying that Evans was not Luo. They knew he was Luo because they knew him. So they tried talking to him in Kikuyu. And he doesn't talk back. And they tell Mama Shiko, nenda api na vijana. Shiko says, wachaneni na akina Evans. Man, I'm like, oh my God, Shiko do. Tuachane now. Oh, hawa ndio vijana wenyu. So hawa ndio vijana wa watoto wako, Mama Shiko. Guys, they said Evans and Peter walikuwa boyfriends wetu, me and my big sister. And they want to teach us a lesson, right? So on this particular day, it's a road and people have started piling and how? And this is why no one can ever again talk to me about tribal shit. So on this particular time, I read, I'm like, things are going to escalate here. And we can see someone hold and grab Peter. And they start shaking him and intimidating and telling him lala chini and all this particular nonsense. And I can see Evan so helpless. I can see Shiko trying to, wachana. My mom is like, woi, wachane na watoto wangu. Hawa ni marafiki watoto wangu. Tunawapeleka tu hapo John Saga police station. Wazazi wao watawakujia hapo. This and this and this. And I remember someone hitting Evan so bad that he started bleeding. And at that particular moment, everything in me that I knew, to be true came out. And I said, and we were with my mom there, my sister, and we said, kama mtaua kina Evan, so ata sisi tuweni. And at this point, I'm like, Evans, Peter, read the room. They're not going to kill me, these guys. They know my mom, ni Mama Shko, they know her. If you're going to kill Akina Evans, so kill us too, man. And I'm saying in my head, Evans, so simuhepe. See, in the midst of this commotion, simuhepe. And at that particular moment, they start beating them. They start doing this, all sorts of things to them. And luckily, they read the room. And Evan saw peñas. Unfortunately, when Peter tried, he lost his hand. Sure, done. Went holding the piece like this. And that image will never leave my mind. He went running, and there was a Rasta guy, Ras. He had a movie shop. Because now the tension is really bad. And Ras comes and says, wachaneni na Mama Shko. There was respect for anyone who had locks. And people loved, he had a movie theater. He was old. People loved him, and he said, wachaneni na Mama Shko. Ante, ile mbio tulitoka hiyo place to get to my aunt's place. Ile mbio tulitoka. Naona Ansuko amekimbia. But Peter is struggling, holding his hand. And to be honest, I hated everything about this country then. Because you don't understand the magnitude of what you are trying to tell us right now. And you may never understand unless you lived it. I almost watched two people I had known to be cool than anyone else. People we shared food, music, everything, almost lose their life. Of course, Peter went, got him to the hospital, got them a few days after. They were the IDPs and everything. They were picked. They were wakapatana na wazazi. And that's the last time I saw Evans. That's the last time, man. And wherever you are, like, this is not just anything. We lost so many people that particular moment. We never got to hear from so many other people. So many people died. I don't have to sit here and remind you why you can't talk about this nonsense. Why you can't talk about this tribal nonsense. And I see where this is going. And I see this is being used to divide us as a nation. But if you lived or you witnessed, or for people who are not born then, you've had someone talk to you about the 207, 208 PV, you know you wouldn't want us to go back there. So when you call me tribal, I'm going to remind you one thing. In particular, as Lynn Ngugi, I would rather lose this platform than have a debate on whether I'm tribal or not. I would rather risk every single thing in my life rather than sit here and debate with someone why it's going to be Kikuyu versus this or Luos versus this, where it's going to be. And for what? Because someone corrected your president? Because your president is a religious manipulator? Because your president lies? Because your president cannot take criticism? Because when people started speaking about Adani, he said it was a lie? So why cancel it? Why cancel a lie? Because we are talking about livestock vaccine that is supposed to be rolled out in January, 25th January. But tell me what you know about livestock vaccine. Tell me, I dare you, tell me. Tell me what you actually know about livestock vaccine and why we are vaccinating our animals. Tell me why we have this cute name for our healthcare center, despite the fact it's going to the dogs. We are saying universal healthcare, right? Terms that are very appealing to the multinationals, terms that are very appealing to people who think they can fund this country. We are talking about carbon credits. We are having holidays where we are told to plant trees, but no one knows why we are planting trees. Why are we so obsessed with climate change? It's a thing, don't get me wrong. But why are we obsessed with things that we don't understand? Do you know how much money is coming? How much money people are getting just by talking about climate change? Just by talking about carbon credits? Do you know how much money people are getting? Like, even if right now today I decide to make content on carbon credits or, healthcare, I'm going to get funded. A lot of money, guys. A lot of money. Why are you calling me tribal? Because I said Joho cannot tell us anything? Because I said he can't? He was the one telling people not to have an opinion too. But Joho has always had an opinion. He has always had an opinion. Why is it so hard for you to let people have an opinion? People will say, oh, you're a journalist, you're supposed to be objective. Damn right. I am supposed to be objective. But there's one consolation I give myself, that if I die today, I think I'll have done what is right by this country. I had the privilege of interviewing Okiya Omtata last week. And I asked him, what legacy do you want to leave behind? What do you think makes someone rich? Go watch that conversation just to find out what his answers were. And for me, it was a moment of reflection. And what the June protests taught us is, you cannot afford, just because you are quote unquote, you shouldn't speak about politics. Lynn, politics is a dirty game. You are going to lose your brand because of politics. Do people understand that people are okay losing brands? Do people actually understand that there are people who are okay waking up and starting all over again? What we witnessed during the protests changed everything for everyone in this particular country. And I see how they are trying to distract us. I see how they are trying to make us forget. I see how they are trying to say business is normal. You're calling me tribal because I said there's a particular ACK bishop who is supposed to take demons out of us. You are receiving money. You shouldn't be receiving money. That is stolen money, money that cannot be accounted for. But don't talk zip, guys. Something lean, don't say. We are okay because we witnessed the worst. We are okay because every day in this particular life is a learning moment. People ask me, Lynn, why did you stop doing Tales of Wanjiku? Number one, because it's mentally exhausting. That's true. Number two, because every episode, if I was to do Tales of Wanjiku, I would bring you 20 episodes in a day. Easy. Every Kenya is struggling with so many things. And what they're struggling with are the basics. You do a story, someone cannot feed their family. You do a story, someone's family member is sick and they need to raise money because they need to take their family member to India. You do a story, someone has no fees for their children They scold well in KCP, they need to go to secondary, they need to go to uni, but there's no money. You do a show, someone is saying, Lynn, I need a job. These are people who have the best papers. These are masters holders, bachelors. People have degrees, but they don't know what to do with them. But you don't want to handle that. And I would go every day and I would sit with someone and I would have these conversations with them. And I would be like, Lynn, what do we do? And I would bring those stories to you guys and you would do the best you could do. And to be honest, when people are saying the stories were emotional and sad, I get that. But that's the sad reality. That is the story of majority of Kenyans in this country, that they cannot even afford the basics. You mess with our education system, people cannot even explain what CBC is all about. You are touching key structures in our country and no one should question you. Even your predecessor, no one could question him. Now we have cute names for our healthcare system, universal healthcare. Tell people how much they are funding you for that nonsense. Just honestly tell people how much you are getting to continue with this foreign propaganda. Why are we vaccinating our animals? I knew when I started bringing these shows, it was only a matter of time before the 527 gang could come for me. But sometimes, you know, as Kendrick Lamar says, you have to pop some. Need to remind people that just because I don't talk, I don't answer back, does not mean that I'm scared. And I want to assure every person that has subscribed, we've built a platform in just 3 years. We've had 1 million followers in just 3 years. And everyone that has subscribed, I know you are organic. You knew why you subscribed. It wasn't just because you subscribed, you knew why. And I want to take this moment and give you freedom. If you don't think this is a safe space for you anymore, I give you my blessings. Like, I'm good, guys, I'm good. But don't you dare ask people to deplatform me because you think I'm tribal. I'm not tribal. No, I'm not. There's a generation of us again who don't care. And I want to take this moment as I finish to talk to the middle class of this country. The people who think politics are other people's problems, not my problems. But you are the ones with a pay slip. I was just looking at some of these statistics and I realized it's crazy even for those who are in corporate. But they are the ones who won't speak because it's not their battle. And someone had said, does the president know that people with pay slips are now poorer than Mama Mboga? If your salary is 100, then this is the contribution. You are being taxed 32%. SHA is 2.75%. Housing is 1.5% and pension is 7.5%, which means your total deductions are 43.75%. So your salary reduces to 250 shillings. And this is obviously the people in corporates are people who can afford to live, in a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. And there's a reason your voice matters. There's a reason we should collectively come out and talk about bad governance. 6 months later, no one is being held accountable for all the people that died during the protests. People who were kidnapped, tortured. No one is being held accountable. No one will tell us investigation ya Kware imefika wapi. We lost almost 50 people, 50 women in that particular dump site. But no, nyamaza, don't say a word. They assassinate people in public. Nyamaza, don't say a word. We have a tendency of quickly moving on because politics is a dirty game. But politics influences everything that we do in this particular country. Politics influences so much. Politics influences our healthcare, our education, our infrastructure, our roads, every single thing. Politics influences that. So if you think Politics is just another company that exists independently, and you will also exist. Who is suffering because of Shah Shif? Who is suffering because of this whole education system? Who is suffering? Of course, you two are. So when people come out, don't criticize people. You know, during the protest, I told one of my friends, you know the saddest part about this protest is that ni 7 na bado wase wako tao. And I can tell you why they are here. Because tomorrow, they don't know where to go. Unajua ukiwa na ka job, utafika home mapema cause upike ulale kesho uamkie job. When you have something to do. But majority of people in this country cannot wake up to go somewhere. They are done dropping CVs. They are done sending CVs. Like, by the way, there is so much desperation among young people in this country. But there is a certain class of people who feel the need to always criticize people when they protest. I don't have to remind you, those young people are your children. Those young people are actually your brothers and sisters. If you are 4 of you in a house and you are the only one who is working, it's not a flex. You are going to provide for all those 4. And you're also never going to grow as a person. So I urge everyone, don't let anyone take us back to 2007, 2008. Don't let, when people criticize you, let them criticize you with all the facts on the table, not tribe. When someone says Kikuyus must accept that Ruto has already been sworn in, he has already won the presidency, it's just a matter of him being sworn in. What are you saying? What are you saying? Then where is democracy? If he's already won, why should people wake up and go vote? When you brag about uyu mtu, you are telling people to be tribal, but I'll play you a clip of your president telling you to stop being tribal. So I'm like, you are supporting someone who is telling you to stop being tribal. Let's listen to this clip together.
We have made a solemn commitment that tribalism is not going to be part of our DNA.
Good. Tribalism, I'm just going to quote the person you are telling people to cancel me because of. He said tribalism is not going to be part of DNA, our DNA, but you are there being tribal. So, ujui hata leader wako anastandia nini? You are busy supporting Ruto, but you don't even know what Ruto is saying. You know, it's very sad. And I wanted to make sure everyone gets to see your face today. So that next time that someone talks to you about tribe or be tribal, make sure you plaster them everywhere, just to remind them, some of us witnessed the mess in 2007. And we don't want to go back there again. Again, there's a generation of us who don't care about uyu sijui ni mjaka, uyu ni nini. We rejoice in our diversity. We don't find fault in our diversity. But there's a generation that all they know is tribe. Why a Kikuyu must never love a Luo, why you should never marry this and this, why you should never hang out with this and this, all this, you know, all these things. But then you are meeting a generation that, number 1, their best friends are actually from these particular tribes. Number 2, there's a Gen Z generation here who don't even know what happened between these two. They don't even care. But they hata wako na majina mpya. Unasikia mtu anajiita Bobo 220. So utamwambia tribe umwambie nini jamani, you know? And I'll say just as Omkia Otata said, Ruto is not the enemy here. When he starts doing the right things, again, guys, let's clap for him. When he listens, clap for him. Encourage him as your president. When you see whatever enyewe anafanya ni poa, don't criticize. Praise it. Apate hiyo confidence na courage that he is going towards the right direction. But if he continues just threatening people, gaslighting people, and we see no development, people are going to talk to you about it. All right? So, thank you so much. And as I said, right now I'm heading to Nakuru to do a show. And this is the only Tales of Wanjiku episode I've done this year. It's a lady called Fiona. And maybe I take this opportunity to ask you guys to support her the best way you can. Fiona has been a caretaker to her mother and her brother for 12 years. She had dreams of being in USIU. She actually was in USIU for a semester or two. But the burden that also comes with being a caregiver in this country is very hard. And when she did her story on TikTok, people tagged me and they were like, Lynn, cover Fiona's story. And we covered her story. And the best part is I asked her, what do you want? And she said, Lynn, I just want one day to live in our house where I can comfortably leave my mom and my brother. Know they can be able to walk around a home. What many of us don't have in this country, a place to call home. And when we did her story, you guys, you really contributed. Together with the team, Fiona's compassionate group in diaspora, you guys, you came through and you contributed more than 4 million for her. And I want to thank you for that, because you guys really came through for her. And the budget, I think, was coming of buying a land. They bought a piece of land, which is really good. And the budget for building her house was like 4 million. I think the total budget was 7.5 something, but you guys did the whole 4 million. And what is pending now is just having a house. So I'm going to cover that follow-up for you guys so that you can be able to make Fiona's dream of having a home for her family. And you can go first watch that episode to understand all the details and contribute what you can be able to contribute to her. So if you find it in your heart to change someone's life this year, change Fiona's life with her family. And let's get her that house. Another person I want to talk to you guys is Pauline. Pauline has a son who has SMA, that is a spinal muscular atrophy. I brought their story here. And actually the second, I think I've done two, the second story on Tales of Wanjiku, and she was raising funds to give her son one of the most expensive medicines in the world. That is actually, you won't believe this, almost 300 million. This is given free to other people in other countries, but you know, I don't know why we can never have such things going on in our country. And also her story is available on our platform. And you feel like if you want to donate towards Pauline's son, to be able to get this particular medicine, these are their details here, and this is how you can be able to help them. If you do that for me, these two particular people, we are going, like, the year will just be okay. So check out their stories if you can. If you've stayed all the way to the end of this episode, check out their stories, Fiona and Pauline's, and see how best you are able to help them with whatever you can. Other than that, without further ado, let me end this show for today. I never thought one day I would get to address the country, but I love that the fear is gone and the purpose remains, guys. It's not hate towards a certain person because this person comes from a certain tribe. And I admit, a couple of years back, people would never speak, but things have changed. Access to social media, access to other people's opinions. There is an online community that appreciates opinions. And I think also for any content creator that feels they need to use their platform, but they don't know how because of the fear of being cancelled, take your time. But if you know it's time, say what you need and must say. So thank you so much. Me, I'm always loyal to the giver of this gift and not the gift itself. So I've come this far because I knew it was God's intention for me to be here. And I don't believe there is a human being who can be able to get me out of here until it's God's time. And when that time comes, I'll refer all of you to the analogy by Les Brown. And he says, imagine you're dead. And as people are burying you, all your talents rise and they start questioning you around your grave. And they said, I gave you this and this, you never used it. I gave you this and this, you never used it. I gave you, Lynn, you could sing, you never used it. Lynn, you could be a music producer, by the way, like real story. I really want to be a producer, you know. Lynn, you could do this and this, but you never did it. So when my time comes, I want to die empty. I want to die really empty. I want to die knowing I did everything I could with the platform. Like, what's in your hand? What's in my hand is the platform that I have. Will I always get it right? Absolutely not. But that doesn't make me perfect. It makes me human, because we are bound to have errors as human beings. But when that time comes, I'll be okay. Even if that time is today, I'll still be okay, because I know there's nothing in me that I wanted to do that I have not done. Of course, I've procrastinated on a couple of things, but that's probability of that and what I've done. I know I'm 90% where I need to be, and I've done what I would have loved to do. So thank you, Team Elene. It's been a beautiful journey this year. Let's move towards our next theme: learn, unlearn, and relearn. Even if it means we need to learn how policies and governance, good governance work, and learn what we've been taught about this country, and relearn new things or new ways of doing things in this country. So God bless. Bye.